why my Dominican husband left me after only 2 weeks of living in the US. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough, and he just made his decision that he was gonna leave, and he did. So my soon-to-be ex-husband and I, who we'll call Moon, we've been together for 4 years, married 3. I lived in the Dominican Republic with him during COVID, but we decided that it was better for me to come back and live in the United States so that we could qualify for the visa. So in 2022, I moved back and we started applying for the visa in August. I was going back and forth doing long distance. Fast forward to this year, in May we heard back and got our appointment for May 2024, and we did the whole thing. He got approved, and then he ended coming back with me in June to the United States. So I fly back to the yard to be with him and prepare for the visa interview. So before the visa interview, everything's going really well. After the visa interview is when shit starts going to hell. And it wasn't just the fact that I was realizing that I was going to be the sole provider, because I was ready to do that. We had already discussed it. But it was me realizing that you literally had done absolutely nothing to prepare yourself to move to the United States, even though we've been in this process over the last almost 2 years.
Based on her last statement, it's possible that it's related to money. He probably didn't like the energy he received while living with her in the States without working, and it could be the reason why he left. She definitely didn't like being the provider.
It was his baby mamas texting him, asking him, oh my God, I can't believe you're leaving. So where does this leave us? What are we? What do you feel for me? Excuse me? So unfortunately, the bickering and fighting continued. And one of the first things that he said in our real fight was, is this why you brought me here? Like, get me my flight so I can go back. But anyways, para cortarle story time, by the second week, he was already telling me that he was ready to go home. And I begged, y yo le lloré, y le pedí to please stay, let's work this out. Wait, the papers are gonna come, you're going to be able to start working. It doesn't make sense for you to go back and start working there when the money that you could be earning there, you can earn it here in your first check. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough, and he just made his decision that he was gonna leave, and he did.
Maybe that was his plan from the start. There is a possibility that he was playing the long game, and it got to the final step, so the time to bounce arrived. Not everyone wants to come to America. How are they married and she's talking about her funds? Isn't it their funds? He just wanted sponsorship to get a green card. Trying to be a man goes wrong. 2 words come to mind when I hear this story: meal and ticket. Homie played the long game. Since he left just 2 weeks after arriving in the US, it seems like something changed that made him reconsider the relationship. Maybe the dynamic between them shifted, or perhaps she started showing a different personality once they arrived in the States, and this was something he couldn't handle. Some men are very serious about maintaining cultural expectations and the dynamics they are used to in relationships. If she started displaying a strong and independent attitude as soon as they landed, it's clear this could have caused problems and led to their separation. Perhaps she didn't like not being in charge and thought moving back would allow her to take the lead, but it didn't work out. There's also the possibility that he used this relationship as a way to get to the US, and once he arrived, his mission was complete, so he no longer had a reason to be with her. That might explain why he left so quickly. It's a hard lesson to learn, but it's something she should consider. It seems like he played the long-term game. He was waiting for the right moment. This situation is a good example of why many passport bros choose to stay in the countries where they meet their significant others. They understand that relocating to the US can drastically affect the relationship, as people can change when their environment changes. Had she followed this approach, things might have turned out differently, but she chose another path, and that's why she ended up with a different outcome.
She is trying to convince men that passport bros is not a good idea. Let's check what she has to say about it.
Alleged passport bros and the well-traveled bachelor who swears that he is going to foreign countries and picking up women. There are no foreign countries or women on his page, so I'm not sure why he is attempting to pass that off. But nevertheless, there are some men who are believing him and thinking that this option easily exists based on what he's saying.
You can't make this up. I'm still trying to figure out why they care so much. Why is she worried about it? I didn't fully understand the purpose of her video. Is she trying to convince men not to travel? Is she suggesting that passport brothers aren't being truthful when it comes to the dating option over there? There are so many other things she could be concerned about, yet she's focused on what Passport Brothers are doing with their love lives. She doesn't need to worry about this, because we are more than capable of handling our own decisions when it comes to finding someone to build a life with. It seems like she's making this video to discourage men from traveling, hoping they'll stay so their dating pool doesn't get smaller. I think many women are noticing the shift in the dating scene and realize that the Passport Bro trend is making things more challenging for them. She's likely aware that as more men follow Passport Brothers' trend, their dating pool will shrink, and apparently she wants to do something about it. She also mentioned that because he isn't posting the women he is talking about, he must not be telling the truth. But what does not posting women have to do with the quality of his dating options? He might simply be a private person who prefers to keep his personal life off social media. His choice not to post doesn't mean the opportunities aren't real. It's important to note that just because someone doesn't share every detail of their life online, it doesn't invalidate their experiences. He doesn't need publicly showcased his experience to validate his message.
Another creator who decided to take time out of her day to talk about Passport Bros. She has something to say about the real reason they are traveling.
Who's gonna tell him? Is it that American men actually are desired all over the world? Or is it that you Passport Bros travel to these impoverished countries? You think it's a flex to intentionally find submissive women in other countries because you're insecure and have a superiority complex? And you
It has nothing to do with being insecure. She is not being honest. She knows Passport Brothers are looking for a partner who holds certain values and culture, and that's the main reason they are traveling.
think that men who are capable of these types of behaviors are the type of men that American women should be fighting over? A lot of these countries that you bros travel to get your wives have extreme poverty. They lack food, water, sanitation, decent housing. Their basic needs aren't being met, and they're overrun with violence. If my conditions were that bad, I would do what I had to do to take care of myself, because I'm sure these women are thinking that coming from such a dreadful environment, anything would be better than that. Last thing, you made this comment saying that we're mad because we're being rejected by y'all. First of all, that's the wrong there. Second of all, and lastly, you can't reject someone who never wanted you in the first place. Hope that helps.
She doesn't want them, but still has the energy to make videos about their lifestyle. It's a hard no from Sweden. Switzerland here. We don't have passports, brothers. They can't even afford a hotel here. I'm from Iceland. No passport brothers there. They can't afford it. You can't reject someone who never wanted you in the first place. Regardless of why passport brothers travel, why is there so much conversation about what they do with their lives? They are minding their own business and doing what works for them in dating, yet people keep talking about them. She would be better off focusing on improving her own dating life, if that's a concern, instead of making videos about passport brothers. They're just trying to find happiness. There's also a misconception that passport brothers go abroad because of some power imbalance, but that's far from the truth. They're looking for qualities they can't find at home, and that's something she doesn't want to admit. Instead, she's using the power imbalance argument to discredit their choices. If men could find what they wanted locally, this trend wouldn't exist. They wouldn't travel thousands of miles and spend large amounts of money for no reason. They're seeking something deeper, and she doesn't seem to want to acknowledge it. The funniest part is when she calls them insecure just because they're looking for what they want elsewhere. They have standards and are seek people who meets them, so it has nothing to do with being insecure. They were secure enough to stick to what they wanted and follow through with it, so her argument was off. In the end, everyone should do what works for them, and there's nothing wrong with passport brothers going after what they want.
Next, we have a passport bros living his best life. A win is always a win.
Boy, do I love being an average-looking white guy here in Latin America. I mean, look how beautiful this girl is. She's like a 9 out of 10, and she's all over me like a feminine, sexy little kitten. Listen, guys, if you want to have success in dating, take my advice. Either date foreign women in the U.S. or go overseas like I did. The typical woman raised in the U.S. is no good. Let me know if you agree in the comments.
So basically, you couldn't bag in the States. You went to where they need visa. This is awesome. Just don't bring her back. Another loser passport bro. He's winning because he's happy with his partner, and that's what truly matters. A win is always a win, and it looks like he's found someone who values and appreciates him. This video is a great example of why you don't need to stay in one place if you couldn't find what you want. Sometimes, exploring other places could lead you to the love of your life, just as it has for him. There are countless stories of men who are thriving in relationships abroad, living their best lives after moving to new environments. It's a reminder that there's a world of possibilities out there, and when it comes to finding someone to build a life with, it might just require looking beyond your current surroundings. He'll likely stay there because he understands that a cultural change could affect the quality of his relationship. This is something many passport brothers are aware of, and it's why so many of them choose to live abroad rather than bring them back. By staying where things are working, he's safeguarding his happiness and ensuring the relationship remains strong. His situation shows that sometimes, moving to a new place isn't just about finding love, it's about maintaining it in the right environment.
Welcome to our self-development section. Today we have another great life lesson. We know it will help you guys a lot in life. We found a great post and we would like to share it with you. It's called 10 Advices from the Old Man for the Guys. 1. Stop chasing women and focus on chasing your goals. Improve your economy. Your value as a man increases when you are able to sustain yourself, and it will continue to increase when you have the ability to provide for others. 2. You can read the books you want, go to the conferences you want, but nothing happens if you don't have self-esteem. When your self-esteem improves, everything improves. Your economy, your physique, your relationships, etc. If you don't have self-esteem, you're already at a disadvantage. 3. If you have no inheritance, if you have no financial support, if you don't have contacts, if you have great studies or skills, do what a real man does. Work, save, make capital. Don't borrow to buy luxuries, nor to play entrepreneurship. It's true that everything in life is risk, but it's not about taking risks for taking them. Simply, if you are starting out, don't owe yourself. Work, save, capitalize, that's how it starts. 4th, a person who wants to get ahead cannot afford to waste his time. Devote all your energy and hours possible to develop skills. What skills? Skills that help you make money. Learn to sell. Learn to write persuasively. Learn to speak. Learn to lead. Learn another language. Learn digital marketing, viralization, etc. 5. If you had children at a young age, behave like a man and take your responsibility. You're not the first and you won't be the last. You can be separated from the mom or move on with her, but no matter what, don't abandon your children. Take on the role of a father to those creatures. Be a provider, a protector, and a guide. Don't use your children as an excuse. Use them as a motivation to overcome yourself. 6. Your future is not in another country. Your future is in your hands. Acquire financial education and entrepreneurial mindset that will open your eyes, and you will start seeing opportunities where you used to only see problems. Europe is not what you think. America is not what you believe. Asia is not what you see, but instead if you are more than you believe, act accordingly. 7. If you're already in another city or country, make your decision worth all the effort. Don't work to be sending money to irresponsible, conformist and liars family members. Help your parents and/or your children if they really need it, but fundamentally invest in yourself. Educate yourself financially, make capital. Your goal should be to become an entrepreneur or investor. 8. Some people think that their education ended when they finished high school. Others when they left university. On the other hand, successful people think that education never ends. So invest in training, books, mentoring, counseling. Never stop learning. 9. Study female psychology. Choosing the wrong person as a partner can ruin you. Nowadays, feminism is hurting women a lot, and the family is under attack. Dysfunctional homes are on the rise. There are many women and men emotionally damaged, so you must learn to spot the signs of a person with internal problems or distorted behaviors. First of all, remember, to find a healthy woman, first you must have been healed, because if you're wrong, it's highly likely that you choose wrong. It all starts with you. 10. Do not desperate. Patience is underestimated, but really true wealth and true success require patience, a lot of patience. Rome wasn't built in a day, so don't run to run, don't wear out. You're living your best years, but the years ahead are even better. This is all for today's video, and we hope you like it. Make sure you check our channel tomorrow for another great content.